Hello, this is Taylor interviewing our local historian, Mr. Monroe. Mr. Monroe, I know you lived in England for quite a while. What was it like growing up as a kid?
Taylor, that's a good question. Growing up in Inglewood from the 1940s and the 1950s were a great experience for me. Even though I didn't have a mother and father, I was raised in a foster home. Everyone on your block was your mother and father. I mean, I could go over to my friend's house and eat and sleep and stay over. If I did something wrong, they would give me a spanking, a beating. And we had a lot of programs in the neighborhood for kids. We also had all of our grocery stores was right there in Inglewood, where I grew up on William Street. We had 3 grocery stores. We had Sereno's, Phil's, and Fody's. And you didn't have to go out of your neighborhood like to go to a shop right we have now, or go up in Bergenfield to Pathmark. We could get everything right there. As far as clothes is concerned, we had hand-me-downs. Taylor, do you know what hand-me-downs are?
Yeah.
Did you ever have to experience that?
Nope.
You're lucky, because I was the youngest one, so all the clothes was hand down to me. There was 9 boys in the foster home, and I was the baby. Mrs. Annie Robinson took me at 9 months old. When I was born in the Harlem Hospital, my grandmother brought me over to Inglewood, and she worked up on the hill for a rich family. She couldn't get off. Her job was 24/7. That means she had to live at her job. So she put me in the foster home, and now at today it's only 2 of us alive. But we had so many different programs for kids and teenagers in the 4th Ward, which was predominantly black community. 98% of all blacks lived in the 4th Ward when I was growing up.
Growing up in the 4th Ward without a grandmother and having 9 foster brothers, what was it like?
It was great because nobody picked on me, because I had older brothers that when we all get together and fight, I wouldn't even have to fight. So I didn't have nobody pick on me. And I learned a lot from them, and they did a lot of pranks on me. I remember when I was a little boy, they did a prank called the Headless Horseman. Do you know the story about Sleepy Hollows? The Headless Horseman, you ever heard of that? Well, I was half asleep, and my brother put a suit jacket on, and he put it over his head where I couldn't see his head. And I thought it was a headless man coming in my room, and they scared me to death. They used to do a lot of pranks. My foster grandmother used to put me in a closet, call herself disciplining me, and it was real dark, and I tore everything up there. And to the day, I don't like to be closed in. But we didn't have any child abuse back in my time, so anybody could beat you. But we had great programs for the kids at the old Memorial House, for kids 5 years old all the way up to 18. A lot of different programs where we all went and had fun.
Type of programs like what?
For instance, I was in Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts. We had Brownies and Girl Scouts. We had a library. We went on to sleepaway camps where you stayed for 2 weeks or a month. We had cooking, sewing. We had photography. The teenagers, we had boxing. We had swimming. We had a basketball court. We also had team programs like photography. We also had dances on the weekend. That was really good. Teenage dances right at the Memorial House. We used to have them every weekend. And also, Inglewood and Hackensack had mostly the black residents. When I was in high school, and y'all know how many blacks go to Teaneck High now. When I was in high school, Teaneck only had 16 black kids in the whole high school. So I always thought the best looking girls were from Hackensack, and our girls in Inglewood always thought the best looking boys was from Hackensack. So we had that confrontation, and we always got in trouble going over to Hackensack. I remember one time, the guys caught us and saw us and ran us out of Hackensack. One of my friends jumped in the Hackensack River trying to escape. But we had a lot of fun. But being an athlete in Inglewood, playing football, basketball, and baseball, all athletes in all other towns, we had like free passes, so we all got along. So being an athlete, I didn't have to worry about chased out another town.
So you consider your other teams or other members on the team of your like football and baseball like your brothers?
Yes, they were our brothers. We hung out together. We partied together. If we had to get in fights, we fought together. Back when I was growing up, fights was simple. You didn't have no guns and knives. You just fought with your fists. But I know in high school, our whole football team, the coach would take your driver's license to make sure you didn't get in any trouble through the whole season. And we used to go to the Performing Arts Theater. That used to be the Plaza movie. We had 2 movies in Inglewood. The Plaza, which is the Performing Arts. If you go across the railroad tracks, it's a bank to the right side was the Inglewood movie. That was the only time I went across the railroad tracks, was to go to the Inglewood movie, because African Americans and blacks I wouldn't say they weren't allowed to go across the railroad tracks, but they wasn't greeted in a nice way to go across the railroad tracks. But we had good times. I remember the movie only cost me 15 cents. Big bottle of soda was 5 cents. Hot dogs was only 15 cents. You could get 5 pieces of candy for 1 penny. What can you buy for a penny now? Huh?
Nothing.
Yeah. And everybody looked out for you. As I said once before, I didn't even have to lock my front door. You know you got to lock your doors now, because somebody will come in there and take everything out. You come home and there's nothing left in your house. So we had good things in Inglewood. Everybody looked out for each other.
Well, thank you, Mr. Monroe. This is Taylor signing out.
Thank you, Taylor.
You're welcome.